This episode is powered by Fuse Energy. Winter is all about energy. Switching on Christmas lights, warming your home for a cozy night in, keeping the TV on for all the festive fixtures.
And Fuse keeps things simple thanks to their fixed rates, cheap tariffs, and 24/7 support.
Better yet, Alan, Fuse is the fastest growing energy company in the UK, and you can play a part in building the infrastructure for clean, affordable energy by referring land to Fuse for renewables development. Not only will you claim your place on the starting lineup of the clean energy revolution, you can earn a £2,000 reward by referring 20 acres or more of land to Fuse for solar projects.
They're building a system that proves renewable power can be affordable, scalable in practice, and accessible to everyone, not just an idea on a tactics board.
For more information about land referrals and energy powering the full festive fixture list, head to land@fuseenergy.com. Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Alan Shearer, Micah Richards and me, Gary Lineker. Well, it's just the first show since Christmas, so I've got to ask you. I'm not asking you, Micah, because you hate Christmas.
Well, hold on. I absolutely loved Christmas Day.
What?
I absolutely loved it. I don't know. I don't know what happened to me. But basically, I said I was going to Pickering. My brother, his missus side of the family, we thought we would have it with them. And normally I'm a Grinch, as you guys know, but dinner was fantastic. The quizzes were brilliant. The energy was magnificent, to quote Alan Shearer. And I'm back. I'm back, guys.
He loves Christmas. He's back
again.
Yes, and Micah, no one raided your fridge.
Yeah, exactly. And that was it.
Tell us how many pigs and blankets you had.
You know what? That's the only thing.
Oof.
Bit of a disaster, really, because there's about 25 people there, and you don't want to look like a bit of a pig. You know what I mean? So I only had about 5, but I had some when I got home. I had another 20. I had another 25, guys. 30 pigs in blankets.
30 pigs.
I'm going for 50 next year. I'm going for 50.
I'll get you in the Guinness Book of Records. I'll get a little thing. How was your Christmas, Al?
Yeah, great. Yeah, all very good. All great Christmas Day. Too much food, too much alcohol, and had Boxing Day off, which was great for the first time in so many years, and then was back in Match of the Day. So on 27th, yeah. You lose track of the days, don't you, over Christmas?
Yeah, we had a good Christmas. I cooked, Harry helped, he's my sous chef. All went well, and once again, I beat Harry in the quiz. Our teams.
Who was the quiz master, Gaz, at yours?
Angus Goose, the youngest.
Goose.
He's always the quiz master. And then we played in teams because it was Harry and Bella, his wife, Tobias and George, who they just also runs every year. And me and my mate JD.
Yeah.
And then we had a darts competition, which my mate won. Who
saw that? He got a bullseye or something, didn't he?
Yeah, but twice. So he had around the world, and then you have to, whatever the rules were, but you had to win it with a bull. Both games that we played, he first throw at a bull, he got him. It was like a joke.
Wow, amazing.
Thought it was Littler. I mean, I'm never going to hear the end of it. Right, let's talk about the first bite delivered by Uber Eats. Aston Villa came from behind, once again, some brilliant substitutions to beat Chelsea. And they equaled a club record, a century-old record at that, back in 1914, winning 11 games on the bounce, which is extraordinary. And it was quite a turnaround in that game.
Yeah, it was, because Chelsea played well first off, and they put Villa under huge pressure, and only got the one goal, which obviously is never enough. But then when he brought the substitutes on, Unai Emery, he brought on Sancho, Onana, obviously Ollie Watkins. And it just totally changed a bit of the system, put Rodgers more towards the left. And he was superb, but I mean, Ollie Watkins won the game for them. They just couldn't handle his running. Is it the intensity and everything else, and he's finishing, and it was a great header. I mean, talk about the mark and whatever you want defensively, but Aston Villa, man, wow, what a run!
Incredible.
Can I just ask you guys? So they had that. I think we had the conversation about Duran and Watkins before he left, and then Emery went with Marlon up front. Then Watkins looked like he had the fire in his belly. I would say. What is the mindset going into a game like that where you think you should be playing? You may have not scored as much. You know you've still got the quality to do it. Is it just, I'm going to go out there and show everyone why I should be starting?
I think you're asking the wrong two strikers, Micah.
I think Unai Emery probably had one eye on the next game also, which is Arsenal away. And I think it was always in his mind to give him half an hour at Chelsea, and I guess he'll start him at Arsenal.
I think you've just got to try and make it count whether you're starting. I think the one thing with Watkins, I know you said he's got fire in his belly, but I see that in him in all the games he plays. Whether he always scores or not's another matter. But he doesn't have to do a job up the top. You know, he's often on his own, looks to spin behind, which stretches things a little bit and gives people like Morgan Rogers and McGinn like a bit of space to work in. So he probably needs, what's he, 29 now, something there? So he's, he probably needs to manage him a little bit. And he's not scored as many this season as he would normally do.
3 up until yesterday, didn't he?
But he continues to get into places where he will score, and that's all you can do as a striker. Whether you start a game or come on, all you want to do is get in the areas where you might score a goal, and then eventually something will happen. And I think that's what happened with Ollie Watkins. Can I ask one thing? Because I had Morgan Rogers in my fantasy team, Micah, and as of you, I think, have you got?
Yes, I've got.
How's that not an assist?
It's honestly,
it's such a great pass. It completely created the goal.
You had to turn off the TV for 5 minutes. You know that. Because I was waiting, and I'm not on X. The only time I go on X, so my manager runs X if he needs to put out any social media or whatever. The only time I go on X is to go on FPL. The tag is on X. And I was thinking, why has he not got the assist? The assist said, no one. I was like, what do you mean, no one? He's given the ball on the play. It's rebounded off the keeper. It's gone off him. He played the ball to him. I've never been so angry in my life.
It's ludicrous.
Ludicrous. That's the correct word for it.
If it wasn't for the fact that I played my bench boost and had Dubravka on the bench that got 11 points, I'd be really depressed today, but I've had actually quite a good weekend.
Sounds as if you know what you're talking about.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my boys, we were in the group chat and they went, how many points did you get? I went, no idea. I had to ask Gary. 58, I think.
Yeah, you got 58, did you?
It's bench boost, isn't it? So I also had Calvert-Lewin on the bench as well, so he scored as well. So anyway, I digress away from. It's staggering what Villa. I thought it was quite interesting the interview that he did after the game, which was shown on Match of the Day actually. When he's gone, are you in the title race? And he's gone. You ask me now? It's 20 games to go.
Yeah.
So it was quite. He said no. It was quite interesting the way he did it. I mean, that's what you've got to do, deflect that away from the players and keep marching on. 2
unbelievable fixtures, by the way, over Christmas, isn't it? Chelsea away and Arsenal away for Aston Villa. I mean, 2 as tough as you'll get, but that should set them up brilliantly to go to Arsenal. And I don't know, you'd be a fool to back against them, the form they're in.
How far can they go, Al? Because we was having a conversation a couple of weeks ago saying, I think they'll do well, I think they'll challenge, but I don't think they'll have enough. I think a lot of the goals that they score are from outside of the box. So if you look at all the stats, suggest they can't continue in this manner, but they keep doing it.
I mean, I'm with you. I think with the size of the squad they've got and the number of games, it's difficult to see them sustain it. But hey, I don't think you take anything away from him. I don't think anyone expected him to be doing this. What a job he's doing, Unai Emery.
Not after about 5 games of the season when they hadn't scored a goal.
What a job he's doing. What the squad's responding incredibly well to him, obviously doing everything he's asking. It's and they're playing some great stuff. I mean, after being under so much pressure yesterday at Chelsea, wave after wave of attack, they stood firm, and then he made those substitutions, and it was like a different team. They just come out, pass strong, won the ball in midfield, and were absolutely brilliant for half an hour.
They have got a strong bench now, though. You know, bigger squad. If they can keep everybody fit, which is also, I mean, so far they've done reasonably well with injuries. So, but they have, you know, you look at their bench compared with a lot of teams, big teams at the top. I mean, obviously for them, if they finish 3rd or 4th in the league, that would be an absolutely superb effort, wouldn't it?
Look at the question that Emery got asked yesterday after the game. Are you in the fight? Say they go on a bit of a run for 5 or 6 games and they're in a good position, then I think the mindset changes then, you know, as a player, because you then start to believe, but once you start believing, that comes with more pressure. And yes, they're still underdogs, but you think, can we do it? And then that is what they've got to deal with Villa next if they go on a little bit of a run. But up till now, they're just a great watch. I think they're a different watch. I don't think Villa have been outstanding in every game, but the manager's able to change players and change systems to suit them to get back in the game. And
a lot of those games have been behind as well, Mike. I mean, the character,
It's amazing. But we've talked many times about Emery and how good a coach he is. He's certainly top 3 in the Premier League for sure. I'm excited to see how far he can take them. And then, do they spend money in January?
Yeah, let's see if they can. If they're allowed to. I don't know what the situation is with PSR. I mean, when you consider also Harvey Elliott's never played.
True, yeah.
Who else? Is someone else as well?
Tyrone Mings been out injured all season.
Unbelievable job he's doing.
Yeah, he really has. It's funny though, isn't it, football? And a few weeks ago, we were having a similar conversation about Chelsea, saying, you know, they were going really well. They had that magnificent tactical performance, didn't they, against Barcelona? And now the fans are starting to turn on them a little bit, I've noticed. I saw, if you can judge social media on these things. But, yeah, they're struggling, still haven't quite worked out who, you know, centre forward. I mean, Delap's been injured a lot this season. He's not really had a run in the side. I don't think João Pedro's really number 9.
No, that's what I said. I think they're lacking a top-class number 9 and a top-class centre-half, I think, as well. Maybe a goalkeeper. It's remarkable. I guess he wanted to bring it up himself, Maresca, but in doing it, he brought pressure on himself after when they won that game, didn't he? There was no need to do that. But I guess he'll have his own reasons for doing that. Chelsea hasn't changed for me. I think it always feels as if 2 losses and under massive pressure, and everything could change. So I don't know. I've never been convinced with Chelsea that they can win the league.
They're playing good stuff though, Al, aren't they? I think
they're good to watch.
Yeah, they were really good yesterday in wide positions, particularly first half with Garnacho and with Neto. They really make the pitch as big as possible and stretch it. And that's what caused Villa problems in the first half yesterday. Okay,
that was the first bite delivered by Uber Eats. Let's go on to Manchester City, Micah. Very important late winner.
They're cooking on gas, Gary. They're cooking. I actually thought Forest did really well. I actually thought they defended everything. It was only minor details. Yeah. I think it was you who did the analysis on Match of the Day last night, wasn't it, Al? And it was just them subtle movements. And yes, when you've got Cherki, when you've got Foden, when you've got Reinders, the position and putting them a little bit more forward, it's always difficult. There's going to be space. But I thought Anderson actually went out too soon. Normally, he's really good at reading situations, but for the goal, just stand firm. But Cherki, we spoke about him, didn't we? Thierry said on the ball is one of the best he's ever seen. Off the ball, he needs work. I don't know if you've seen him in the sauna. You know this whole thing with Pep when he was talking about the kilos over Christmas?
Yeah.
I said, Cherki, he was on the bike in a sauna. I don't know.
Saunas are super healthy for you.
What do you think of the decisions? Because Sean Dyche had a big rant on Match of the Day and after the game saying about he felt the officials were really, really poor. I thought Diaz got really lucky not to get a second yellow.
VAR can't overturn that though, can they? Not for a second yellow.
No, I thought it should have been a yellow card. Yeah, I agree. But and also, I'd slightly disagreed with him. I would have gone with whatever the referee decided in terms of the push that he wanted on the second goal.
I thought Wayne Rooney picked out on that penalty, didn't he? Where he'd actually made it look like Gibbs White was perhaps doing like leading the way, hooked around him. Yeah. That was quite interesting because I hadn't spotted that at the time either.
Yep. Agreed. I didn't spot it as well, Gaz, but when you slow it down, you know exactly what he's trying to do. I thought Dyche was hard but fair after the game. But when you look at it again, Morgan Gibbs-White, I think he knows what he's doing there.
Yeah, he initiated it.
Rooney explained it really well yesterday.
Yeah. I thought Forest played well. I went to Craven Cottage to watch the Fulham Forest game, and that, I have to say, was fairly dreadful. That was hardly. I don't think a keeper made a save in the game. There was a penalty that was the goal, and that was it, which was a silly penalty. And nothing else happened really in the match at all. But I thought they were much better against City.
Thought they defended really well for large parts of the game, but when you're up against that quality, you're going to get punished if you switch off for a second, and that's what happened with the Reinders goal, wasn't it?
Don't you think Igor Jesus up front, his hold-up play was amazing.
Put himself around, didn't he? He's tough to play against, wasn't he?
He was really leading the line very well. City still giving opportunities away. They don't have the same intensity when they're pressing. They're still trying to close down the space really high up on the pitch, but they just leave massive gaps in the middle of the pitch. But when you've got Cherki, Foden and those players that could hurt you, and Reinders, then they're willing to take those risks. Yeah. I don't know if they can keep doing that for the rest of the season, but they keep getting results because of the quality. And I have to give City a bit of credit because they always try win the game. They always try, no matter if they have to go out wide, through the lines, over the top, set piece, they'll just get the job done. And now the title race has become very interesting. Very, very interesting.
It is. They managed to win their game, as did Arsenal. Another, like many performances I think we've seen lately, it's, they've got the job done. They've worn teams down. Brighton came back at them at the end, but for that, you highlighted it on Match of the Day, Alan. Whoa, what a save by Raya.
Well, I thought it was over. Once Arsenal went 2-0 up with the own goal, great ball in from Declan Rice from the corner to go 2-0 up shortly after half-time. I thought, that's it. But Ursula changed it at half-time and Brighton came into it a lot more. And of course, as soon as they get that one goal, it was like, ooh, what's going to happen now? And that save, wow.
Unbelievable save.
That's as good as a goal, isn't it, that? It's like, when someone scores an absolute screamer from 30 yards, might win you the game. That's as good as that. I thought that save was just sensational.
And Arsenal, on a whole, I've seen, again, if you look at social media, people saying, all they do is score from set pieces. I mean, it is hard to score from set pieces.
It's a hell of a criticism.
People understand that. Otherwise, why don't everyone else do it as well? There might not be, I won't say as entertaining as City, but City is slick the way they go forward out there. Sometimes Arsenal get to the final third, sometimes run out of ideas. You're looking for Saka to do something special or whatever. But they're still getting over the line. A win is a win at the end of the day, isn't it?
I thought they were okay, Arsenal. I thought they were well worthy of going 2 up. Could have been that in the first half, never mind when they got the one in the second half. But because of the pressure that's on them and everyone's looking at them and And City are putting massive pressure on them too, and you can just feel the edginess, not only on the pitch but in the stadium. So I think Arsenal will have to score a lot more goals just to try and make it easier for the fans and not put them through the ringer.
Has the dynamic up front changed particularly though from last season? Have they got at the moment he's not really. I'm looking at him. He doesn't really look like scoring a lot of goals.
No.
Gyökeres, and that's probably why. I think overall they've bought well. They've brought in players in different positions that they've needed to, because by gum, they've got some injuries defensively, haven't they? Timber was out, and then Calafiori got injured in the warm-up, so added to the other players that were already out at the back. So you're actually considering they're actually dealing with it very well. And I think the fact that they're just getting over the line is because, they do get lots of balls in. I mean, Saka does deliver a lot,
he's good.
But he's not really getting on the end of things at the moment.
Gabriel came back yesterday, he came on.
Be a real bonus for them.
I thought Odegaard had his best game of the season. I thought he's scored a really good goal and looked good on the ball. Saka was dangerous. Trossard was. Gyökeres had a couple of chances. Martinelli came on, missed a big opportunity, which would have eased the stress a bit for them. But yeah, I thought they deserved it in the end, but they had to rely on that incredible save.
So Gyökeres scored a lot of goals, obviously, last season, didn't he? The last couple of seasons abroad. What does he need to do to score more goals? Forget all-around play, because if you look at someone like Haaland, his hold-up play is definitely improved. Yeah. But the amount of touches he needs to score a goal is very low. What does Gyökeres need to do to improve his numbers?
I've watched him quite closely the last few weeks, and I think he's, like most strikers, he's one that waits to see where it's going, the ball, waits till it's crossed and then attacks the space. But that's what defenders do. As a striker, you've got to gamble on where you think the ball might go, and you go just as they're about to cross it. So you steal a march on the defender that way. And lots of the time the ball won't go there, but I don't see him doing that very often. Dominic Calvert-Lewin did a perfect example of how to do that for the Leeds goal at Sunderland. Perfect. He didn't wait and to see where it was going to go. He went, right, I pulled away, and then he sprinted at the near post and hoped that the ball would be delivered there, and it was. I don't see that too often from Gyökeres at present. And the players that score big numbers will do that. Haaland, Kane, Lewandowski, they know how to make those kind of moves into those spaces. So is it something you can learn? I've always thought yes, but because it's actually common sense, it's law of probability when you think about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, but before you go, Al, is it then more difficult when you've got wingers playing on the opposite side? Because if you look at someone like Newcastle, with Murphy, you know it's coming in. He's magnificent, by the way. He's the most underrated player in the Premier League, Murphy. The time it takes him to take a touch and whip it in is amazing. I just feel with Gyökeres, is he fighting a battle with wingers and Saka's got great delivery, but just the timing we're talking about?
I think it's a lot easier when you've got someone who's right-footed playing on the right, someone who's left-footed playing on the left. But I think in this case with Saka can go both ways, so that makes it more difficult for the defender. But that doesn't stop you gambling. That doesn't stop you making that first movement. If you make that first movement and the ball doesn't come in, so what? You can't then get disheartened and say, well, I'm going to stop running. You have to keep going, because if 10 balls come in, you get one of them. Fine, you've done your job, you've got your goal, it might be the winner. So it is easier when right is right and left is left, but you cannot stop running because someone might be coming in from the right on the left, or they're checking back. You still have to make those runs. And I don't know whether you remember, I did a piece on that very early on with him and with Arsenal to say they have to get used to him, he has to get used to them. That hasn't quite happened yet.
Yeah, I'd take you to a conversation we had with Haaland.
Yeah.
And he was saying this thing about, people say you did nothing all game, you didn't really touch the ball, and then at the end you scored the winning goal. And he said, that gives me the most pleasure. But it's because people don't see the 30, 40 runs, whatever it is, he makes into space when he doesn't receive the ball, but he just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going until he gets one. And we're going to keep going after this break. Before we go to the break, it's time for our next question, brought to you by Fuse Energy, our presenting partners here at The Rest is Football. Each month, Fuse give their customers the chance to send in a question for us to tackle on the show. And this week's question comes from Ali Al-Yusuf. Ali asks, what do Chelsea need to become genuine title contenders? Could the absence of experienced leaders on the pitch be what they're missing?
Oh, for me, I think they're a top quality centre half away and a brilliant centre forward away. So I think they're two players away from me. I think I'm not saying that Pedro and Delap can't do it, but I think to get to that elite level and challenge for Premier League, then I would say they'd probably need a top class centre forward and centre half. I think
at the moment they can beat any team on their day, but it's just that consistency, and that might bring that. I mean, there are not many Haalands around, though. That's for sure. I mean, Delap's promising, but he's had a bad injury this season, so we're yet to see if he's the real deal or not. Leaders, Micah, he's talking about that. I mean, they're very important. I think Reece James is a really good leader.
Yeah, I think if you look at Chelsea's squad, it's quite young.
Yes,
it's probably one of the youngest in the Premier League. If not, if you're looking at starting players. But yeah, I think a little bit more leadership. You always want to have a reliable spine, and I think they've got good enough youngsters around that. But I would say just two leaders and two players away from really being genuine contenders.
Who were the best leaders you two played with, do you think? Who were good examples of real leaders on the pitch? I always used to think, sometimes it's, fist pumping and all that sort of stuff. But I think mainly they lead by example. I'd probably pick out a couple from my England career, maybe Brian Robson and Terry Butcher, for obvious reasons. That sort of personality, that there's someone that you could trust, rely on, that would also drive you forward. Any names?
One of the best leaders I came across was as soon as I walked into Southampton when I linked up with Jimmy Case. He just had this aura about him. Micah, you heard of Jimmy Case, Micah? You must have heard of
Southampton, Liverpool. He went to, didn't he?
Liverpool, Brighton, I think as well.
He was tough as.
Yeah, he was so respected not only by our dressing room but the whole of football because of what he'd achieved, and he just had this toughness about him, and he was a great leader.
Micah,
I'll go quickly too. I would say Vincent Kompany.
I knew you'd say him. And he's proving it now at Bayern Munich as well in a different kind of leadership challenge.
He's a proper leader.
Yeah.
And I know he's got the ranting and raving and shouting and being aggressive, but he's also got a softer, intelligent side where he would show you things and make you look at things a different way. Steven Gerrard didn't say much in the dressing room. But as soon as we got onto the pitch, the first tackle, and he would always want the ball. That's real leadership. It never shied away from getting on the ball in difficult positions. Then he would score a worldie. So I would go with those two.
Yeah, totally agree. I think leaders give you real energy on the pitch. And while we're talking about energy, if you want to get involved, sign up to Fuse Energy today using the code FOOTBALL at fuseenergy.com/football. And you could save on your energy bills and get a chance to win a shout out on the show. This episode is brought to you by Hotels.com. Make your next trip work for you. Hotels.com just rolled out a game-changing feature called Save Your Way, and it's as simple as it sounds. When you book a trip as a Hotels.com member, you decide how to use your savings. Choose to take the instant savings now or bank the savings as rewards for later. It's your call. Envision converting discounts on this week's stay into rewards for a luxurious beach getaway next year. No complicated math, no blackout dates, just you choosing how to make your travels work harder for you. Only at Hotels.com. Save Your Way is available to loyalty members in the US and UK on hotels with member prices. Other terms apply. See site for details. Welcome back to The Rest is Football with Alan Shearer, Micah Richards and me, Gary Lineker. And we're discussing the festive games, festive football. And let's go back to one or two of the games played on Saturday. No, actually the one day before that, because there was only one game, wasn't there, Alan, played on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
And it was your team at Manchester United. Yeah. And obviously you got beaten there. And it was a strange game in some ways, I felt.
Well, Amarin went back to 4 at the back, changed his system that he said he wasn't going to do, but he did it. They didn't play that well, Man United. They defended really well, and they stuck together, and they were under huge pressure. But Newcastle, 46 crosses, while we're on the theme in the first part.
46?
46 in that one game. And there was probably only, I guess, 3 or 4 good ones. Murphy put one in the first half in, which... I mean, it was illegal that no one was on the end of it.
It was illegal.
Gordon and Voltemade standing still. And that has to change, from a Newcastle point of view. You can't be putting that many balls into the box and no one's getting on the end of them.
We go back to that point we made just before the break when we were talking about how you score goals as a centre forward. I mean, if you got 46 crosses, I'm telling you now, Alan, that you would have
unbelievable
got at least one.
Absolutely. I mean, how can you have 46 crosses in a game and not create really, really good opportunities and someone get on the end of the box and the movement?
I think you could just lay down on the edge of the 6-yard box, lay there and score at least 2.
So that tells you there has to be a lack of desire or a lack of knowledge or a lack of ability to want to get in there. That's a frustrating thing from a Newcastle point of view, because it wasn't just Man United. They've put loads in against Chelsea, against Tottenham, and that's been a common theme, is that where balls have been going in, there's not been enough players prepared to get on the end of it. But I thought from a Newcastle point of view, good until the final third and then terrible in the final third. But Man United... Well, they deserved the win. They defended really, 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 really well.
I saw Wissa is coming back, obviously, to fitness, and it might take him a time. But when he was at Brentford, he was that kind of player that would make runs into good places. So he may benefit from that, because I wonder if Voltemade is more of a 10, maybe. I don't know.
He made one great run, Gary, when Barnes chose to pull it back for Anthony Gordon instead of pushing it across the 6-yard box, which would have given him a tap in. But I don't know whether Eddie will change the system or not when they go to Burnley, whether he'll end up playing Wissa as the 9 and Voltemade as a more of a sitting player with maybe just 2 midfielders instead of 3, which has always been his system. So we'll have to wait and see for that. But Newcastle have to do something different.
I think Voltemade at home is amazing for Newcastle. I think when you're playing away from home and then you counter-attack, I don't think he's got the pace to make up, to get on the end of the crosses, you know? I think when they're at home and teams are boxed in and he's already in there and he can link up, really good touch, can play, that's his strength.
It was like a home game at Old Trafford though, Micah. Man United were boxed in.
Yeah, well, I would say that. But in terms of sometimes when on the counter-attack, and you're just thinking, Voltemade, he can't get there. Gordon's rapid, and so is Murphy, But at home, I feel like he's got more control in the game because he can affect it, because he gets on it, he's got the crowd, everyone's up for it. But I just thought it was a yard off it in terms of the pace getting in there. And I think Wissa definitely solves that. Away from home, without doubt.
Another win for Manchester United. When I say another, obviously not been that frequent, and he did change. Finally, he changed it, and he admitted that I think I'd do things differently if I arrived again. Took him a while to work that out. But thoughts on that change of tactics and system, Mike? I mean, they got a result, but it wasn't much of a performance, I didn't feel.
But look at the difference. They didn't play well, but everyone knew the positions. Yep. Everyone knew where to be, to head the ball away, when to press. Okay, Dorgu was good. He was playing in an unfamiliar position, a little bit higher up in one of the 10s. But just in terms of everyone knowing their jobs, they got the clean sheet. It was plain to see everyone. Although I thought Martinez played well, and I thought it was Aiden Heaven.
Aiden Heaven.
Wow.
Yeah, he played well, didn't he?
What a performance from him. We knew he's good. We've talked about him before.
We have the same agent.
You have the same agent?
Yeah, Andy looks after him.
Really? No way.
Yeah, he's in good hands. He's in good hands.
He's in good hands.
He came to Ballers League with me at the last season.
Yeah, I didn't know he was with you. I saw him there. I didn't know he was with you, though.
Yeah, nice lad.
But you know what? He reads the game really well for a young player. Obviously, physical, he can deal with it. He's strong enough, he's quick enough, but he reads the game well. That for a young player to read the game like that.
Especially as a central defender.
Correct. I just thought it was a really good performance from him. And they needed him because of they've got injuries. But Man United didn't play well, but they got the result. And that's all that mattered.
And no Bruno, obviously, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been the star man for a long time.
He has. Yeah.
But it was 3 points nevertheless, and they're in kind of reasonable shape in the league table. As are, I would say, Brentford.
Cool. Incredible.
I mean, Bournemouth have kind of plummeted a bit over the last couple of months, but Brentford have done the opposite.
Brentford was superb.
Yeah, very good, weren't they?
They obviously were aware of Bournemouth's press and high press and how they do it, but the way they got around that by playing quickly, pace and aggression and everything about their game, Brentford was great. Igor Thiago and Sharda, the Bournemouth defenders just couldn't handle those two. They were too good for them.
What made Brentford so good?
Just the pace and the energy that they had. And I said it last night on Match of the Day, how they were direct, but when I say direct, they weren't kicking everything long. When they did, they had him to hold up, and the two forwards worked really well together. When they didn't, how they got players forward quickly and passed it quickly with energy and everything. Then Bournemouth just couldn't handle it. I mean, Bournemouth were terrible.
What's happened to Bournemouth?
Yeah, because they had a great start, didn't they? And we were all saying, how on earth are they doing that with the players that they've sold? And they're about to lose another player by the sounds of it in Semenyo.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it?
It looks as if he's going to City, doesn't he? I guess that's catching up with them.
Yeah, I don't know. Have they run out of steam in terms of the way they want to play? I don't know. Every time I watch Bournemouth, I like look at them. I think they go forward in numbers. Normally, they're a lot better defensively than they've been showing in previous games. We know we like the manager. We've talked about him and the way he sets up his teams. But maybe they are just missing that extra bit of quality when needed this season.
I think you're probably right. Caught up with them in the end.
Yeah.
But, it's like this season, that pack of teams, if you win 2 or 3 on the bounce, you suddenly jump a lot of places. That includes, obviously, your team, Newcastle, as well.
No, that's right. I said that. I mean, if you look at Fulham 3 weeks ago, we were saying, they're going to be in a relegation battle. They've won 3 games on the spin. Now in the top half, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy what's going on. John has asked us not to mention Wolves, but I just want to mention one player that played against them, Florian Wirtz, finally got his goal.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that he's going to really start, I don't know, just got a feeling that he's going to start being the Wirtz that we expected from here on. He's starting to create a little bit more. He's getting him more involved. He's getting used to that position he's currently playing in. What do you think, Micah?
Well, we said he was going to be the signing of the season, so we need him to score a few more goals. He's spent 100 million and I was giving him the big spiel. He gets into half spaces. He gets on it. He creates. He's got technical ability. All of these sort of things. And Wirtz scores his first goal, which I'm absolutely buzzing, but I want more because I give him the big build-up.
Let's not get too excited. It was only Wolves at home, guys.
Oh,
Sorry,
no.
John, I'm winding you up. John, I'm winding you up.
Oh dear, that's cruel. That's cruel.
I tell you what, though, there's definitely a little thing happening with him and Ekitike, the understanding.
Ekitike's good.
Balls into each other and how they sort of complemented each other. I thought that was really good yesterday.
Yeah, he was brilliant creation for the goal for him, that's for sure.
We're not going without talking about Leeds. Marching on together.
What about their goal?
Oh, this is what I'm trying to say. Look, he was like a prime Barcelona. Tiki-taka, through the lines, into the space, out wide, into the box. Calvert-Lewin scored. 6 in 6 he scored.
He did, and that movement that I talked about earlier, but I just want to ask you one thing here, Micah, right? So you're from Leeds, obviously. That's where you grew up.
Yes, Chapeltown, CPT they call it, guys.
I know what they call it. They call it Micah's home now. And you grew up in Leeds.
Correct.
But you supported Arsenal, right? So I'm thinking, and now Leeds are starting to a bit of form, and you're jumping on the bandwagon as a Leeds fan.
Getting lively, and he's getting lively.
Hold on.
You can see from his pure excitement with each team who he supports. He didn't do this for City. He didn't do this for Arsenal.
Oh my God.
And now the excitement, he couldn't let us go without talking about his beloved Leeds.
I said Man City were cooking if he was listening. Anyway, I went to go watch Burnley and Leeds when they were in the championship, guys. Burnley's one of my teams. I love Burnley. The hospitality there is brilliant. Leeds, because I'm from Leeds, I always like Leeds. So I've been singing Leeds' praises for many seasons.
Must be great to support that many teams. You've got half a chance of being in a good mood every weekend.
When someone asks him who he supports, it takes him 2 minutes to reel off the teams.
I support Manchester City, and you know that, guys.
Just one thing I just want to finish on, because obviously I've met him on a number of occasions, because he was Martin O'Neill's right-hand man at Leicester, as well as being obviously brilliant footballer, John Robertson, Robbo, who passed away a few days ago. So, I mean, what an unbelievably brilliant footballer. 2 times European Cup / Champions League winner for Forest, obviously part of that incredible Bryan Clough side. And he was just a really, really, really lovely, fun guy. And yeah, I just wanted to, condolences to the family. And
Martin spoke so highly of him as well, didn't he, Martin O'Neill? Yeah, obviously loved him.
He did, he really did.
Really had some good long nights with Martin talking about how great he was.
Okay, chaps, let's call it a day, and we'll be back at the end of the week, which will be 2026. So I'd just like to wish everybody, all our listeners and people that watch, a very, very happy New Year.
Yeah, happy New Year, everyone. Thank you very much for listening and watching.
Thank you very much. We'll see you in 2026. Goodbye.